part 4 of Facebook is Our Future.
What do the websites, the New York Post, New York Daily News, CNBC.com, Reuters.com, NBC.com, TheWeek.com, Washington Examiner, Popular Science, Recode, and The Atlantic all have in common? At one point in time, all of these publishers had an active comments section until one day they didn't. That, in and of itself, isn't as troublesome as the fact that apparently neither their readership nor their advertisers ever complained about this, at least not enough for them to reverse course, and so everyone just lived happily ever after. Everyone except for the New York Daily News, apparently, which is losing a lot of money. That's not of interest to me, however. What is of interest to me is the time frame in which, according to the New York Post, the Daily News lost $90 million over the past 3 years. I'm not talking about gradual declines over an extended period of years, which many publishers are going through right now, but rather an abrupt 25% decrease in web traffic since over a year ago. It just so happens that this was also the time period, 2015 or so, that they decided to remove their comment section. I'm not saying that that is the reason for their financial troubles. There are certainly bigger factors for sure, but I can't help wonder if this removal of comments didn't help contribute to it in some way. I don't claim to be an expert at online news publishing, but it would seem to me that one of your goals as a news website would be to keep visitors on your site for as long as possible. And one of the ways in achieving that is by giving your readership a reason to stay, hence having a comment section. And in New York, where your two other big papers, the Times and the Post, also seem to be afraid to have their readers posting comments, wouldn't this then be considered an opportunity for the struggling Daily News, to be able to provide something the other guys don't? I don't know, it's common sense to me, but then again, if you were to ask an actual industry expert about this, they would probably say that I was old-fashioned and that everyone just goes to social media to comment. Fair enough. I can't prove anything one way or another. All I know is that there was a time that I used to visit this site every day. I would scan the headlines and just go straight to the comments section. The reprinted stories? Hell, I could have read those anywhere, but it was the comments from local citizens talking about local issues that kept me coming back. Now, when they finally took the comment section away, I stopped going altogether. And I'm just wondering how many other readers did the exact same thing. I guess the larger point I'm trying to get at is it has always been my opinion that every news article that appears on the internet should be accompanied by an active and intelligent comment section that is moderated and that anyone can access. So many times I learn more about a story I am reading from different perspectives being offered by comments posted than I do from the actual article itself, especially if it is a local story. Unfortunately, many publishers do not see the same value in a comment section as I do. In fact, if it was up to them, most of them would prefer the comment section disappear altogether. The Intercept, of all websites, put out an article December 18, 2017 entitled "Comment Sections Are Essential for News Sites. We're Making Changes to Improve Ours." And I posted a link to the article. I don't always see eye to eye with a lot of their articles, but this one was a good one. Rather than avoiding the subject and pretending that it doesn't exist, they weren't afraid to tackle it head on. So good for them. We need more journalists to do that same thing. In the future, Facebook will handle all comment sections that appear online. Why will Facebook handle all comments online? Well, for a couple of reasons. Number one, users will demand more interactivity with their internet. Even if you may or may not agree with the VR stuff I've been talking about, surely most of us can all agree that the internet must evolve in some significant way. If the internet fails to evolve in a meaningful way, then what will happen is that one day millions of Americans will awaken from their collective slumber and, appearing like a castaway lost at sea with squinted eyes scanning the horizon and a right hand scratching their heads, they will come to the realization that they themselves have finally got a handle on this whole social media thing. In other words, they are not letting social media control their lives, or they are not enslaved by it through addiction or anything like that, but they themselves have finally, over a period of decades, have finally gained the control that a lot of people are struggling with now. And a lot of people complain about the insanity of social media and a zombie-like smartphone addiction that goes along with it, but including myself at one point in time. However, over the past year or so, I've developed a sort of optimistic outlook on the whole thing. The social media, the smartphones, keep in mind that this stuff has only been around for a little over 10 years or so. Any technology in its infancy is not without its growing pains. I look at it this way. If the vast population at large arrives at the year 2030 and they still haven't figured out how to behave on social media, or they're still tethered to their smartphones 24/7, then I'll know that we truly have a problem. But the truth is that won't happen. Not because I have faith that we can curb our technological dependencies, but instead because we will have embraced a much bigger technological addiction, thus leaving our past predilections behind us. The number two reason why Facebook will handle all comments online is that they will be able to provide some sort of accountability for trollish behavior as well as other undesirable behavior that occurs online. Even now, if you look at websites like Politico.com, USA Today, Miami Herald, McClatchy, and so many others, its comment section is completely handled by Facebook, where everyone's real name and sometimes even image are on full display. So the groundwork for this accountability has already been laid. It's infrastructure already in place, and people seem to be embracing it. All that is needed now is a virtual vehicle to help drive these social experiences to brand new heights. In the future, Facebook will believe that the conventional approach to dealing with online trolls is deeply flawed and will set out to relearn everything they thought they knew about the subject. They will seek the counsel of psychologists as well as other experts in human behavior who exist outside the Silicon Valley bubble, and it is only at that time that a solution will present itself. The answer, they will learn in time, is not computer programs or special software such as Perspective, which was created by Jigsaw and is part of the Google Alphabet family and was designed to detect hate speech in comment sections faster than any human moderator can. A proposed solution such as these makes the job of troll detection much harder than it needs to be, and besides, the risk for inaccuracies is still way too high. The problem with these programs is that they are constantly learning, and just when you think it reaches the end of its learning curve, it goes ahead and misplaces the whole of the 13th century.
Negative.